Hey, we are so glad you joined us today. We hope that we're joining you on your break, or maybe you're at work, or maybe you're in your car picking up your kid, or maybe you're just cleaning the house. But thank you so much for tuning into the Pot Smoking Moms. We are not to be confused with other moms that smoke pot. We have a Pot Smoking Moms podcast as well. So thank you so much for joining us. I am Sunny D, along with my homegirl, Captain J.
Hello.
If you like us, if you like our podcast, please rate, subscribe. That way, whenever there's a new episode, you ain't got to wait for Instagram or any of our other social handles to shoot it out. You automatically know it's there. It's ready. You can listen to it as soon as it's available. Yeah. Subscribe, share, and just, be friends with us on all of our social media handles. We say all of them just in case, one of them decides to ban our account or some shit like that. Because, TikTok.
Which feels imminent all the time.
Yeah, whenever it's related to cannabis, you think, oh my God, how long are they going to put me in TikTok jail for? Or what are they going to ban? It's just like living on the edge of our seats. And that's why we're about to take a rip off this bong. Because it's like we're constantly living on the edge of our seats, right, Captain J?
Yup. What do you got there?
Yeah, I have some Yum Yum bubble gum.
I have the last of my 5-pound hammer, a ratio. I've been enjoying this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's got like 17% THC and a little over 2% CBD, which we don't normally find a lot of flower that has CBD. So, yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Nice. All right. Cheers, guys. Nice. What's up with anything happened to you this week?
Not really. Same old. Trying to get situated in the house.
Bullshit.
And
still that.
the only thing is, did you finish Wanda Vision?
Yes, I most certainly did. It was very lovely.
Because I know you were a little behind.
I was very hesitant to start watching that show to begin with because of the first two episodes were rough to get through. But I recommend anybody who hasn't seen WandaVision yet, just, after you get past those first 2 episodes, which I think they could have. I still think they could have done things differently.
If you went back and watched those first 2 episodes now, knowing where they were going, you would enjoy it more because you would see more of the clues and where they were going with the whole concept.
I wish I can agree with you, but I really don't. I honestly think they could have done things a little bit different. It didn't have to take a whole 2 episodes. Which, granted, they're not that long, but still, I feel like they could have they didn't need to be so cheesy like that right out the bat.
But that's how television was. And that's the whole idea, is that she made it in those realities.
Yeah. Well, people hate spoiler alerts, but honestly, if it wasn't for spoiler alerts, I would have never kept watching. Yeah. Honestly, I'm a big... What's his name? I forgot. His actor name escapes me, but he plays Pietro on WandaVision, and he was in American Horror Story, and he's Quicksilver in the X-Men movies. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
So when I saw he was in, I was like, oh, all right.
Pietro is Quicksilver, right?
Yeah. I mean, yes.
They're the same character.
They are.
It's just different universes. He was in that universe, and then in this universe. That was Fox that made those movies.
Yeah.
But it is the same character.
Right.
It's just played by a different actor in that universe.
Yeah, and it's kind of confusing because they've kind of thrown that into the mix.
Yeah.
Here. Because the one guy who did play Quicksilver in the X-Men, which is a guy in WandaVision, which I fucking love that guy, but forgot his name. Evan Peters. He plays him in WandaVision, but then the throwback, the flashback that she has of her and him
is the other
guy, the other actor, like. Right? Yeah. Which is essentially the guy who plays Kick-Ass.
Yeah, which is funny because they both did a movie together in Kick-Ass.
Who?
They were both in that movie.
Who's in that movie?
Evan Peters and the guy that played.
Evan Peters was in that movie?
Yeah.
In Kick-Ass?
Yeah.
Who did he play?
His friend.
Really?
Yeah. I want to look it up.
I don't doubt it. But yeah, I liked that movie Kick-Ass too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, we'll look it up later, but I'm pretty sure he was his friend. He was also in it.
Probably.
Yeah. It might have been the second Kick-Ass.
Yeah, the one with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, it's been so long since I've seen those movies.
I know, it's been a while.
Well, Hit Girl for Halloween.
Yeah. Same. You have a picture where you're dressed up as Hit Girl and I'm dressed up as Shredder from
we
Ninja
should share
Turtles.
that.
It's pretty funny. Well, I will make that the image for this podcast episode.
Why not?
Yeah. Hell yeah. So Wanda Vision was good. I love that. I want to keep, it's also something good to get into now. We've been waiting for new stuff.
Well, yeah, but now Marvel's releasing a whole bunch of stuff. And this is just the beginning. Like, WandaVision was an introduction of stuff to come. So, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see more. Did you see the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview?
I saw a little bit of that. I saw parts of it. I was really trying to. I even downloaded the CBS app, but my kids have other plans for me. Always.
I was intrigued because I saw some clips of it on TikTok, and I was like, "No way that they asked that they were making an issue about what the
skin color. Potential skin color of the baby would be."
Yes, I was like, that caught my attention. I was like, "Oh my god! Like, how do you have that? How do you even say that?" But they didn't apparently say it to her. Right. It was a conversation with Prince Harry that he later disclosed to her.
Probably,
they never say who it was.
Right, but it's like suggested that it's his dad that said that. So? But it doesn't matter. Like, first of all, I am surprised that people are surprised.
I'm not really surprised, of course.
Because it's like, that we have officially made it clear that systemic racism is a thing and everybody's
They just basically, she was very clear that the reason they left is just because they didn't want to leave initially, but she was always told and promised by the family that they would always be protected, meaning from media and like false stories, and like they'll squash all that. And they never did. And there was always
they never had her back.
Press after press after press. Right. And it was breaking her down to the point where she wanted to completely commit suicide. Like, she didn't want to live while she was pregnant.
I'm sure.
Just think about your emotions and while you're pregnant
and also under scrutiny and all of this immediate like attention and for sure.
And then they pulled his security when they left, because even when they left, they were planning to they didn't want to leave the family altogether. They just wanted to go from being a senior member of the family to a less senior family member, where they'll continue work throughout the Commonwealth, which is why they moved to Canada. So they wanted to continue, do what they do, where they go out and they represent the crown, but from, afar. And when they moved over there, they just took all their...
They cut ties. They took
all their security, even Prince Harry's security. He had no longer had any security. And they get death threats all the time, especially him, because people think it's messed up that he married someone of color. He gets death threats for that.
That's insane.
I was like, oh my God. And then what was crazy is that Tyler Perry is the one that helped them.
He helps everybody,
He's
though.
The one
Tyler Perry is like a beacon of hope for so many people, and it's insane.
He gave them his home.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I was like, it was really interesting. I've never given a shit about the royal family. I've never paid attention to it.
Well, why? Because they're like racist and elitist, and it's a whole stupid situation anyways. Are they paying for the family's lifestyle? I mean, it's stupid to me. The whole thing is stupid.
Yeah, like, I don't see the point if they're just a figurehead.
Yeah. And everybody behind the scenes, and this was also showing how everybody behind the scenes is pretty much running the show.
Yeah,
like the family just
they were very clear that the queen was not
in charge.
Yeah, that was not the problem.
Right.
Like, they got along fine with the queen.
Oh, right.
She got along great with the queen. They loved her.
Yeah.
They have nothing but respect for her. They were very clear that it was not her, it's the institution.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But that got me interested in knowing more, so I started watching The Crown.
Oh yeah, you're watching that now
on Netflix. Yeah, I'm starting.
Is it like historically accurate?
I don't know. I want to know how historically accurate it is, because they go into a lot of stuff with Winston Churchill, because he was the prime minister when she became queen, and all this stuff. And I'm like, how accurate is all this? And I've heard it's pretty close. And they said they've seen it. They asked. Oprah asked
if they've seen that show.
If they've watched it. They're like, we've watched it a bit. And I'm wondering if they only watched the current season because his mom's on it.
Oh,
and they of course also talk briefly about what happened to his mom and
Yeah.
how he said, I saw it going in the same direction of what
Yeah.
happened to my mom, and
Yeah.
was not going to let that happen.
right.
And that's
But
what
they
saved
straight
him.
killed her. They
The
straight
only
killed her.
reason he was able to like afford to continue is because of money his mom left him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I wonder what his
But the
brother's
crowd's
gonna
cool. You
say.
should
And
check
then
it out.
and then suddenly everybody was hanging around with black people to kind of like squash the beef. To like thinking-
Really?
You didn't see all the like photo ops that they were like,
No, I bet.
yes. And then they asked his brother. Oh my
William?
god! Yeah, they asked his brother, "Have you spoken to your brother after
William
his
or Andrew?
after the interview?"
William.
And he's like, "No, but I plan on speaking with him real soon."
Oh, Prince Charles. That's right. Charles, not
his-
William.
William is his brother, no?
Oh no, Charles is his dad.
Charles is the
I get all
dad.
them confused because they changed their names and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they don't go by their names sometimes; they go by their titles. So it's like, oh,
Yeah, I don't know nobody's fucking title. Fucking.
well, in the show they all go by like they call them by their title, like the Duke of Edinburgh.
The Duke of Kookus. The Duke of this Bongacus.
Yeah.
Hey, and vaccinations, like, what? Is that free thing going now? I have a couple people have told me they got vaccinated. Are
As
you?
of yes, I know that CVS is not checking. You still have to meet certain qualifications in order to qualify, but they're not confirming. Like if you say you're a
it's
teacher,
like
they're not going to
honor
ask you for
system.
your teacher ID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are catching wind of that and starting to just make appointments and going.
Yeah.
And then starting May 1st, everyone's going to be able to do it. According to Biden, he announced that.
Yeah.
As of May 1st, there will be no restrictions.
There's also a thing where like CVS has a wait list if people cancel appointments.
Yeah, but if they're not
And you
even
can-
checking, just make an appointment.
Yeah, I guess. Lurk around the
been slacking.
CVS.
I've been meaning to do it, and I've just been slacking to go and make the appointment and do it because I never leave my house.
Right, me neither too.
But once a week. But since I want to start going out more and leaving my house more.
Yeah, fuck this shit. I need to stick me in my arm.
Tired of being home.
I know.
I love being home. I'm a homebody, and even
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I need to get out.
Yeah, me too, bro. I need to get out and do something.
We want to do an event with all our pot smoking moms.
We do. How fun would that be?
Yeah. We got to get safe.
We will be doing an event, though, 420 Fest, April 24th in Sarasota. Please go check that out if you are in northern Florida. April 24th. It's called 420 Fest, Sarasota Fairgrounds. We also have, is this next week?
Dude, it's Friday.
It's this Friday. Oh, my God. We have a
Friday, y'all.
the High Five game show on Friday.
The second episode of the High Five Game
peep
Show.
it. I hope you guys, if you did not check it out last time, you got to hang out this Friday, the 19th, 9 o'clock. It's on our YouTube page, which is on our website, potsmokingmoms.com, which is in our bio and Instagram or whatever. But yes, please, you can chat, you can participate.
And since it's the Friday after St. Patrick's Day, the theme is St. Fatty's Day.
Oh, yeah, St. Fatty's Day. The nuggiest news around, brought to you by the stoniest moms in town. Nebraska governor claims legalizing medical cannabis will kill your kids.
Oh, my God.
You think that sounds ridiculous? Wait till you hear this.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country. And that's why it's dangerous to go around the established process we have to determine whether or not drugs are safe and effective, and why legalizing marijuana and going around the regulatory process to keep people safe is dangerous and going to harm our kids.
Oh, my gosh.
Damn, dog. Slow
We're gonna
your
kill our
roll.
kids?
Slow your roll. I wonder if that guy's never
about
smoked weed in his
freaking
life.
fear
Like,
tactics.
what the hell? So this is basically him responding to efforts to legalize medical cannabis in Nebraska. This is Republican Governor Pete Ricketts. He just went back in time. if you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids? Are you kidding me?
Reefer madness shit.
That's insane to me. So we all know that there's no such thing as overdosing on marijuana. It's very unlikely. The only times it's been recorded where it says happens, it's people who have gone into psychosis because they probably did a lot, and there's also
had already
underlying issues, and then it's probably aggravated something more, and the suicides is really what that's a product of. So this guy is going crazy. So it's just like fear mongering. He brought up, he cited 2 instances of people who consumed extremely high doses of marijuana and died by suicide. Exactly. So how are you going to bring in that data as something to support how it'll kill your kids? If that's the case, there's so many things that can kill your kids then too. You know?
Everything.
Alcohol is legal as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they could just drink that as much as that and get poison. So... this guy is continuing the stigma with this ridiculous
rhetoric, like extreme rhetoric. You will kill your kids. Like, that's insane. That's something straight from the 1930s.
Yeah, and honestly, his tone is also reflected in something we're going to get into locally.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, no. I lost it now. I gotta go back. Oh, wait. Let me try that again.
So, recap. We talked about this last podcast. The bill that caps THC potency in medical marijuana moves forward in the Florida House. So a bill aimed at capping the amount of THC has cleared its first committee and will move on to the Florida House of Representatives. The Professions of Public and Health Committee passed the bill HB 1455, allowing it to move forward in the Florida House. The bill states that qualified physicians may not prescribe medical marijuana containing more than 10% to THC patients. THC is the main psychoactive compound, as we know, that produces the high sensation.
Representative Spencer Roach, the bill sponsor, claimed overprescribing, doctor shopping, and abuses are emerging in the medical marijuana realm. Roach said on Tuesday, 15 years ago when we look at the opioid crisis, this is what we were seeing. This kind of doctor shopping, drug-seeking behavior, and the difference is that now we can learn from that experience and we can act before it's too late to protect the 500,000 Floridians who are using medical marijuana. Once the bill is cleared by other committees, it will be up for a vote in the House. Let me bring up that Sunshine Cannabis, Chris Sunshine was actually live there, Instagram Live, while they were doing the subcommittee. The speaker, the Spencer Roach guy, like all of his claims were, the entire time he was there was like, cite your sources. Like what kind of scientific research is this guy coming up with? Because if he's just saying, from what I see, like who are you to, like, how can he prove that?
Was there an analysis done and compared it to what was happening back then?
Yeah, but exactly, how does he know?
Shopping.
How does he know that people are doing this? And it's crazy to me. And then what is the research? Like, we need to bring in research to the House and show them like the the percentage of people getting off of opioids because of cannabis.
Exactly.
It's
crazy to compare it to the opioid crisis. That's just insane.
Yeah.
It's only 500,000 people in the last, 4 years, 6 years now. I don't see it. I mean, I get the idea, people are doctor shopping. Yeah, they're looking for a doctor that will be willing to recommend them medical marijuana.
Right.
But the doctor's going to listen to your reasons why and decide whether or not they will, let's be real. Everybody goes to these chains because they know they're going to get the recommendation. So I think that's what he's referring to, but I don't think that correlates with the opioid crisis.
But so what is he right? And it's like, what's the research that shows what how do you prove to people that it's going to be the opioid crisis? That's completely different. You cannot compare one with the other. That is insane to suggest that. anyways, we're going to keep following up with this because I hope it dies the next, committee that hears it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But but we'll follow up with that.
And call to action. Try to reach out to your local legislators if you're here in Florida. Ooh.
We got to post something up in terms of
stay tuned to our stories. We usually share stuff in there for this.
Yeah, for senators you can reach out to, numbers and such. We will be posting those for you as well so that you can, it's just easier for you to go searching for that stuff.
So we have another bill here, Senate Bill 692.
This is positive.
Medical marijuana public employee protection. OMG, this is exactly what we need.
Yep.
So medical marijuana public employee protection, prohibiting an employer from taking adverse personnel action against an employee or a job applicant who is a qualified patient using medical marijuana, providing exceptions, requiring an employer to provide written notice if an employee or job applicant's right to explain a positive marijuana test result within a specific time frame, providing procedures when an employee or job applicant tests positive for marijuana. Okay. So providing procedures when applicants test positive for marijuana. I'm hoping that that's a procedure where if you test positive for marijuana, the lab contacts the person being tested directly before notifying the employer and then finds out whether or not they're a qualified patient. And if they are, doesn't disclose it altogether. That's what I would hope they're doing.
Oh, yeah, that would be. I never thought about that. That would be ideal.
Yeah, because it's your medical, HIPAA. It's your private medical record.
So that would protect you from even the lab, even your employer knowing.
Yeah.
Because it's like none of their business.
If you can't provide your patient number that proves you're a patient, then I guess they would hear. They would then find out, yes, they tested positive.
Man, I just think,
I'm not sure if that's how this bill would work.
Yeah. Well, that would be nice. That would be cool. We'll stay kind of following up with that one too. There's a call to action for that one. So we do want to reach out to our senators here. All right. You can email the city council or your state senator and encourage them to support SB 692, medical marijuana public employee protection.
Do it. Because if you're a patient here, this is what we need.
Yeah,
definitely.
We need to be protected. And this would be...
It would probably encourage more people to become patients.
Right.
Because they're like, what's the point of becoming a patient if I have to pay all this extra?
And then if anything happens,
I'm still in
sayonara.
Trouble. Yeah.
Right. Well, we will keep abreast of that situation. And now... Breaking story, wild night in Miami Beach. Women twerk on police car. 2 officers injured. Miami Beach, Florida was a wild Friday night in South Beach. There were even women who jumped on a police car to twerk. The video was pretty great. I would suggest everybody to peep the video on, what is this? Is this on Sentinel? No, this is Miami Herald.
I don't remember.
We will post it for you. There were even...
It was Channel 10.
Channel 10
News, yeah. ABC.
The video is pretty great. It's pretty insane.
It's scary.
It's scary. There's so many people out. It's spring break. The city is swarming with spring breakers. While taking a subject into custody, officers were forced to utilize pepper balls. That sounds like a nice, like a treat, like a holiday treat.
But what are pepper balls? Are they like little balls they throw that shoot off pepper spray?
Yeah, I would assume something like that.
Okay, so pepper balls.
Pepper balls to disperse members of the crowd who were disorderly and surrounding officers. Several subjects were detained. 2 officers were injured and were transported to the hospital.
Why are you talking like that?
I don't know. I'm making it interesting.
You suddenly sound like a hillbilly.
I do? I don't know. More police officers are enforcing the rules in the area, Ocean Drive and Collins and Washington Avenues, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God. Insane. So all packaged liquor sales cease after 8 p.m. in this area and after 10 p.m. So they're trying.
They're trying to chill the crowd out,
Yeah.
less alcohol. People need to smoke weed instead.
Yeah, instead.
No, but they're wilding out in that video.
I'm there. Yeah.
People have been locked up for too long. So on Thursday night, officers said that some people in the crowd threw bottles at them on Collins Avenue and 11th. And officers arrested 3 people before the incident on Friday. So wow, that's insane. And it was like swarming. People were just swarming. Nobody was wearing masks. The risks of the coronavirus pandemic are on the rise by tourists coming in and just.
Yeah, but if our governor doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. So officers are asking the public to wear face masks. Okay, mind you, in the video, none of the officers were wearing masks.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're asking people to wear face masks and social distance. And the city's enforcing a curfew from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's closing down pretty early.
That's closing down pretty early. We got this little fun clip from
the video.
Stopping crime and preventing the potential of a COVID outbreak.
Why do you think there's so many people who want to be here, during spring break?
Because there's no restrictions here, or at least people don't give
right now.
Yeah, I love it. It's true. She was true.
Why is there no restrictions here?
Right, because Governor Ron DeSantis issued an order invalidating the local government's fines on pandemic-related rules. And he says, we like the fact that people are able to work here. We like the fact that we have been able to save thousands and thousands of businesses and save people's livelihoods. DeSantis adding that contemplating a shutdown at this point is insane.
We're not asking for a shutdown.
Yeah, we're not.
We just want people to wear masks.
Yeah.
Why can't we still have?
You know why? Because having all of this doing that pandemic related rules would also suggest that businesses have to limit. Capacity has to be under a certain capacity,
but
which
it should. That was a lot of people.
There was
swarming.
a lot of.
It was a lot of
crazy.
People.
And any spring break videos you look at from right now, I'm not talking about old stuff. New videos. There's lots of people out there wilding out.
They've been locked up for too long. I hope a lot of those people got vaccinated already.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. That's a positive outlook on that.
I mean, we had those ladies dressing up as little viejitas to try to get vaccinated.
Yeah,
seems like some people are.
And we're telling everybody to lurk outside the CVS to get some leftover vaccines before they toss them. Well, I am very happy to introduce this interview. We actually sat down with Danielle Simone Brandt. She wrote a book called Weed Mom. She was very, very insightful, very resourceful. She's a journalist, and she wrote Weed Mom, the Kinda Curious Woman's Guide to Healthier Relaxation, Happier Parenting, and Chilling the Fuck Out. And this book came out in December 2020 with Ulysses Press. She's also a mom of 2 kids, aged 8 and 11, and a former yoga teacher. We got to talking about a lot of really interesting things with her. She kind of told us she did this because she was kind of the weed mom in her group, and everybody would ask her questions. So she was like, let me just slap all this stuff together. And, she's really doing a lot to trailblaze pot smoking moms.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
bringing more moms into the tribe.
Hell yeah.
Like kind of curious, like
normalizing it, right? We hope you enjoy her interview. Here it is. All right, Danielle, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today and talk to us a little bit about your book. You were just telling us you were originally from San Diego and you've moved to, you said Idaho?
To Idaho. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say originally from San Diego. I'm from wherever. I grew up in Hawaii, and I've lived on the East Coast, lived in Bay Area, lived in Southern California. I guess we just like to move around. But yeah, definitely. I started writing about cannabis while living in a legal state, and then I was writing a book moving to a prohibition state. So I don't know. It's weird.
So what got you over in Idaho? You just like to move around, or is it like your spouse's job that makes you travel?
Well, we've moved various places, like for school and stuff like that. But, really we moved here for quality of life. Like, California is so expensive.
Oh, yes.
And, you can just you can get a house in Idaho that fits your family a lot better. And also it's like kind of a secret that, but not really, that we can just drive 45 minutes over the border to Oregon and get
There you
everything
go.
we need.
Oh, nice, man.
That has to make things very complicated for Idaho. They see, this is why it just needs to be federally legal, because when you have states that close, and I saw a video about that where somebody was at a dispensary and they're like, here, I'm at this dispensary picking up, and when you looked to the right, there was a hill, and just right over that hill was a non-legal state, and they're like, the people right there that live in those houses cannot buy this weed. That's just crazy.
That's wrong.
I know. I mean, and of course people do. But yeah, it's also like they're losing out on the tax revenues. It's a lose-lose situation. Like, prohibition is on its way out, but there's some states that are just like digging
holding
in.
on. Yeah. When did your relationship with cannabis start? Like, how old were you when you started using cannabis?
So I tell a story in the book about how, I experimented in college, and when I met my husband in my early 20s, he was definitely a stoner. And so, I was around it, and I would smoke here and there with him, but I didn't get it. It wasn't my thing, until later, really, until I was like in my mid to late 30s, and I was a mom, and actually my husband had been to rehab for cannabis, which is completely crazy, right? Because cannabis is not addictive in the sense, in the physical sense, like people might have a little bit of withdrawal symptoms if they stop cold turkey after a lot of heavy use, but generally speaking, it's not physically addictive. But he was like, leaning on it without any idea of like, different cannabinoids, CBD to THC. He was using like high THC stuff, and it really wasn't great for his brain. It was sending him into like, some mental health ups and downs. So it was a problem for him. Now he can actually consume in a much more like moderate way. And rehab is like a little bit of a strong word, but he went to a program to help like renegotiate his relationship to it. And that's crazy because then, he was into weed. I wasn't. He stopped. I got into weed. And now we're both into it again. So, yay.
So is something you guys enjoy together as a couple?
Now we can again. Yeah. That's really nice.
So what made you decide to write your book? Like, why did you decide to write a book, Weed Mom?
So I wrote the book because I was, I'm a journalist, and I was writing about cannabis on one side of things. I was writing about parenting stuff on the other side of things. And, sometimes I'd write about those two subjects together, but mostly they were separate. But as I became like more known as like, oh yeah, she smokes a lot of weed in my mom community, people started coming to me with their CBD questions and their, indica versus sativa questions. And I was like, you know what? There's a lot of interest in my mom's community, but they don't know enough yet, or they just feel intimidated by like all the selection in the marketplace. Plus the fact that like the culture is changing and we're starting to normalize cannabis, and like we need to talk about it more with like our kids and all that. So just all that was a good motivation for me to be like, okay, I'm going to put the information together in one spot for moms.
That's really cool. That must be crazy from you're known as the weed mom. Everybody came to you for weed advice, and now you're in a place where you can't really be like advertising really that you're a weed mom. Would you be, how long have you been in Idaho, and have you found any friends or people around you that you can be open
that
about?
Are supportive?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few. And, like mostly people that I knew before I came, to be honest. So, like longer term friends, but yeah, like coming out, again of the weed closet is like hard, in a new place and where it's illegal. So like, little by little, but in the pandemic, we have obviously not had that opportunity to socialize in person anyway.
Yeah.
So like my whole social life is online anyway.
We have so many internet friends like that become our friends.
Yeah.
They're our friends now.
I mean, and ultimately this past year was kind of like that. I mean, there was a lot of us, there was a lot of weed moms out there who were trying to connect with others. And you know what? I always talk to her about how privileged and how, great it is that we have grown up with kind of a bunch of other friends of ours that have smoked, you know, and we kind of all have this bond and we all became parents around the same time. But like, there's other people out there. Yeah. When you move, it's scary. It's kind of like, you know, hard too, because you don't want to you don't want to advertise it, even though nowadays I think like we're older and like we like, kind
don't
of
give a fuck attitude.
We don't
like,
give a fuck. Like,
me.
Yeah, like if you want to be our friends, we smoke weed. Like, are you down with that or not? Because if you're not, then you're not gonna want to be friends with us. But if you are, we could talk about it. We kind of like
you're cool with it.
Yeah, that's kind of how we like introduce ourselves now, kind of, because
it's about normalizing
but at
it,
least
right?
You have totally. But I mean, at least you have medical that, you know, like it gives you that, you know, that. We're like, you know, freedom to be open. And yeah.
Do you know if Idaho has anything in the works to maybe have any legislation or anybody lobbying and trying to get things passed there? Are you aware by any chance?
Yeah. Well, okay. So there is an Idaho Cannabis Coalition that was collecting signatures for the ballot for last year, you know, for 2020. The pandemic shut down their signature gathering, so that, you know, just got dropped, unfortunately. There's another medical marijuana signature gathering for 2022 marijuana bill, just for like basically like terminal, you know, people who are literally about to die.
Oh my God.
So, you know, that's like not very broad and not, you know, that would be good and compassionate and important, but it's not enough, obviously. And then at the same time, there are Idaho legislators trying to like push through stuff about like, hey, this is never going to be legal here. We're never going to do it.
Oh my God. I cannot stand those cock blockers. I hate when people do that. I hate when people are like, oh, it's illegal. Well, we're going to make it illegal, double illegal. It's never going to be legal. We're going to make a law saying that it can never be legal, period. Like, what the fuck? You need weed more than we do.
I know. And seriously, it's like, if you don't like it, don't fucking smoke weed. Sorry,
it's that simple.
Yeah.
It is that
it's
simple.
So, there was Markle Island. There's a place here.
Yeah.
That has, it's like I mean, we're in Florida, so a lot of these places here is like touristy destination spots for people. There's a Markle Island. And they have put in laws to make it never legal.
They're like, if it ever becomes recreational legal in Florida,
not here.
In Markle Island, it's not legal.
Like, oh
just in case, we will never. Yeah, that's just
what a waste of time. I mean, it goes to show you how much time is wasted in government because everybody has their thumb up their butt.
So, Danielle, what would you say are your main reasons for using cannabis?
Okay. Well, okay. I like to say that like in my cannabis self-care toolkit, I've got many, many delights and, you know, ranging from just topicals, like when I'm sore and I have an old injury that, you know, CBD really helps me with. You know, I like CBD and CBN in the evenings. I like it, you know, it's good for my sleep if I take it like, you know, an hour or so before I sleep. It really helps me just, you know, get the most restful sleep. I love low dose edibles for just like chilling and working because actually a little bit of THC is a good focuser for me, like a little bit, but like a lot, you know, makes me more just chill and, you know, I can have fun with my kids, but I can't get shit done in that state. So yeah, I mean, I use it for mood, for sleep, for pain, great for sex. Let's see, good for cooking, good for hanging out with my family. Like what can't you use cannabis for?
That's so true. It goes back to how versatile this plant is in so many different ways. Excuse me.
Totally.
It's so complex though too. Even like just I always thought cooking it would be easy, growing it would be easy, and it's fucking not.
No, it's not. How is it that you had this great regimen of things you like to use the plant in different ways, and now being in an illegal state, you don't no longer have access to that kind of variety? Now I'm sure it's probably just what you can get is maybe Delta 8. Is Delta 8 legal there?
Delta 8 is not available here.
What? For
Not
real?
even Delta 8?
Yes, it's wild. Even Delta 8, I can't. I
You can
tried
get it
to order
online, no?
many times from different places, different retailers. They won't ship it. But here's the thing: I'm a 45-minute drive away from
That's
Oregon,
right. Mhm.
so
So you
yeah,
have the
it's
variety
just-
there. Duh.
Yeah,
We
and there are dispensaries like right on the border too that clearly are catering to people who live where I live.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's smart. That's very smart.
Wow,
It
that's
is smart,
genius.
and they're getting the money from it. So good for them.
Yeah.
So what do you consider okay, so a lot of times we get into these conversations where a lot of us we're happy to see other people being open, and we're very like we want to normalize it, right? So what is your take on normalizing? What can we do as mothers who enjoy cannabis? What can we do to normalize it for everyone, even people who are, I mean, I think we need to talk to older people about it, but
Yep, for sure. I mean, that's a great question. That's like the question right now is like, how do we do this? So I think that, different people are going to be doing it in different ways. Like what you're doing is a way, absolutely. And I know that's part of your mission. So, entertaining, podcasting, getting your message out on social media platforms, just, being open about it, opening up conversations for other weed moms, other canna moms to jump in and to maybe feel a little bit less afraid, a little more empowered. And yes, conversations with kids, in a way that's like not fear mongering, not stigmatizing, but, also gives them enough information so they can stay safe, right? That's important, utmost. Talking to older people in our lives, talking to, partners, if there's like some disconnect or miscommunication, just like we gotta, in my view, we have to be really open about it. We have to keep talking. What do you think?
I agree 100%. I'm pretty open and with everyone. Everybody, my family knows, all my friends know. The only place I'm not open about it is my place of employment, just because
there's no protections in place.
No, there's no protections. Even if I'm a patient, I could lose my job very easily if they found out, So that's the only place where I can't be open and honest about, oh yeah, I like cannabis. It's great medicine. It helps me with this and this and that, because they just wouldn't get it. It's corporate America in Florida. So who's the audience for your book? Like, who should we recommend your book to? Who are the type of readers would enjoy your book?
So, okay, that's an interesting question, because like, I think, I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. I think that I wrote the book more for mainstream canna curious moms, but the canna mom community is loving it. And I'm like feeling so like honored and gratified by that fact, because I think that a lot of weed moms were like, we don't have like, I don't know, like a rallying call or something, or, some like piece of literature that says, okay, let's look at all the issues involved in being, a parent who enjoys cannabis, being a mom in our culture today who likes cannabis. So I'm like thrilled that like OG canna moms love it. but also like I want to get the message out to people who aren't with us yet, and who could be so much happier and healthier if they could, just give it a try, because I like, before I was a canna skeptic. I was a cannabis, like, not a hater, but like a low-key hater. Like I was like, whatever, it's not for me, it's a weird thing. But once I got it, like I got it, like in my body, in my mind, my heart, my soul. And like, I love this plant now. I love what she does for us. I love that she's a lady.
Yes.
There's so many things that, I've fallen in love with this plant. And, so I want more moms to like understand, to know that.
What pulled you back in? How did you get back to that place where you were like, oh, okay, this is what clicked? What made it click for you?
So I was actually writing about cannabis as a journalist in more of a like culture and like sometimes business sense, not from like a first person, my experience sense. So I was writing about cannabis before I really like tried it as as I say, like as an adult. And, I had been an adult before, but like as like a, mother of two and woman with a career and all this stuff, like I had just it had dropped off my radar for years. So when I tried it again, it was out of sheer curiosity because I'd been writing about it. And also so many people in my life besides my husband had been saying like, hey, it helps me with creativity. It helps me with, anxiety. Like I love that, mild euphoria, and I can hang out with my kid and feel, more creative and fun. So I was just hearing all these things from, people out on the internet and people that I knew. And I was a yoga teacher for a long time. So I rolled out my yoga mat and I, went to my dispensary and I called delivery and I got a vape pen. I was like dipping my little baby toe in the water. And and I just took like a couple, maybe 1 or 2 puffs, very low dose, but it was like a beautiful experience. I felt really embodied, really, connected. I'm not religious in any way, but spirituality is important to me and feeling like a connection to, something greater and nature and all that. And cannabis did that for me. It like awakened these, these states that I didn't really access in my normal life. And I was like, hell yeah, I've been missing out.
I can see that. Back, I haven't done yoga in years, but I used to love to go to yoga high.
You love to go to everything high, bro.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, I like to go to the refrigerator high. Yeah, okay. I like to go it's not, of course it's nice to get high and do yoga.
No, but especially, like, I wouldn't get blitz out of my mind just a little bit, just, get
I
a
got
little
you,
high.
girl.
It helps with the breathing and the focus and all that. I really enjoyed it. There's ganja yoga.
And sometimes you get in your head too, and it's like, yeah, it's nice. I want to do a yoga session. Like,
I know, it's just
we gotta do a kind of mom yoga session
because THC especially enhances your sense of touch and your like your sensory, all your sensory shit. So I feel like it's just the perfect combination.
Which is why it's good for
sex.
Like you said, sex life earlier.
Is there a combination that you would suggest or anything particular? I am like, we have never had like a sex person on our show. I think we should, probably bring somebody on here. But what would do you suggest a certain combination or?
So, okay, I think it is pretty personal. It varies, but I like, first of all, THC lubes. Have you had an experience with these?
No,
I've heard about it, but I've never tried it.
Okay. Tell me more.
Tell us more.
Yeah. But definitely combine it with, smoking or edibles or whatever, because you want to have the like full body feeling too. But like it's been described as getting your vagina high.
How does that happen?
What is? I want my vagina to be high. This is honestly, this is why this is a good question. Yeah, I'm super intrigued. Do you have more information? Tell our audience where they can get some of this stuff.
Okay. So first of all, I should say that not everybody feels a dramatic, difference, but some people do. And, I think enough women feel, a dramatic difference. I do. But again, I do combine it with actually getting high. So like they're working together. But we have endocannabinoid receptors in the reproductive system, and and it's THC is definitely an aphrodisiac for women. Like studies show that women who consume THC have more sex, have more desire for sex, better arousal, better satisfaction with their sex life. Like it's a really good, really positive for women. So I recommend some combination of topical and internal or smoking. But for me, it's pretty dose dependent, because if I smoke a lot of indica or something, I just want to lie there and I'm not very much fun. So it's like, you got to balance it out. I like sour diesel though for sex.
Diesel, okay.
I mean, that sounds like something you would smoke before having sex, to be honest. So I can't
Sounds
disagree.
sexy for you, D.
It sounds like, yeah, we're going to get it done. Sour diesel, baby.
It's got a masculine feel or something.
Yeah, sounds like a hunky wrestler.
Are nice for me. But like it is pretty specific because everyone's endocannabinoid system is a little different, right? So, the way we respond to CBD and THC and all that. And for some women that I interviewed for the book, for instance, they just needed to get rid of pain, for instance. So in that case, like a CBD topical, or, THC just for the analgesic, because it's a pain reliever, we know. Definitely. So lots of different uses potentially.
Do you have a preference between like hybrid, sativa, or indica? Do you just, like, depending on your mood, go to a certain type?
So I listened to one of your episodes today where you guys are talking about sativa indica, and I was like, interesting. So okay. I generally speaking think that, sativa indica is a little outdated, as I'm sure, and I know you know that. But at the same time, there do seem to be patterns, right? And things that are like often labeled as sativa tend to have like that little bit of more uplifting, But like just to say things are straight sativa indica, that's a little bit of a, misnomer. But it just depends on what I'm going for. Yeah. I like sativas. Like this is a Jack Herer.
See, that used to be one of my favorite strains. Now I don't do a lot of sativas. I have to be on the mood to be on the go.
Yeah.
I think the Jack Herer here's changed too. It's not the same.
Well, no, it's definitely not the same as the Jack Herer I used to get in Amsterdam. So
yeah, nothing here is gonna be like there.
That was back in like 2000.
I like being able to like try different strains and stuff though too, and kind of gauge. I recently had to stop smoking a strain because it made me aggressive, which I never thought it would. Anything like that would happen, but I mean, it seems like different strains for different people. I'm not smoking that strain again. It was a sativa. I mean, I think those are a little more, but yeah. Definitely different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I've tried strains that I'm like, oh, not for me. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't feel good. But fortunately, most strains are pretty good for me.
Yeah. I'm usually good with all weed.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I like my indicas in the evening, and I do like hybrids or hybrid effects. Sort of like end of the workday transition into kid time and dinner time and stuff. That's a good hybrid time for me.
In California, when you were there, obviously there was a lot of variety, and you're also close to Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of like strains that are that have high CBD as well, like ratio ones? Because every time I've tried those, I've enjoyed those, and I wish we had more of that available to us.
I'm seeing more though.
I've only at Rise do I see them, and then we just got one at Truly.
Yeah, they're coming out a little bit more. But you've probably seen more variety since you've been around it longer.
The legal states that have been legal forever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like every dispensary that I've been to in San Diego probably had like at least 2-3, high CBD strains, or
but
at
in
least
flower form.
1-to-1 flower is kind of hard to find, but it's pretty nice too.
Yeah,
I really enjoy those strains when I can get my hands on them.
Yeah. What do you think?
Can you get like I'm just curious about like other cannabinoids. Can you get them as flower or pre-rolls? Like, can you get CBG, for instance?
We have a local friend who we get CBG from.
CBD, CBG.
But in flower form, yeah. But like at the dispensary, they're starting to do more CBN. Well, they're starting to do more stuff. They're starting to do more CBN stuff.
In flower form?
No, the CBN wasn't, I think, capsule form.
Yeah, they just do capsules. Is CBN available in flower? Yeah, like we don't have that.
Well, so not really, because it's a minor cannabinoid that's only present in small quantities in flower, unless the THC is like aged. Aged THCA from the dried flower will age into CBN.
Right.
So if you've ever had like super
weed.
old weed sitting around and you smoked it, it's probably more like chill than others. It's probably
makes
more
you go
like
to
couch
sleep.
lock.
Yeah.
Ah.
Or if you cook it too, you can cook it long enough so that it turns into CBN as well.
Yeah, because it activates
Converts.
and converts.
Yeah, if you cook it too long or whatever.
So interesting as we learn more and more all about these other cannabinoids and Delta 8 and
Delta 10.
And I was like, Delta 10?
I know. What is
Are
Delta
they making
10?
these up? Like,
I know. We were like,
on?
for real? I had to Google that. I was like, she's lying. And it's real. Delta 10.
Don't know much about it yet, but
right.
it's new, apparently.
Yeah. And Delta 8 is still super interesting and new. And I know you had some episodes talking about it recently, and I listened to some of that. Pretty interesting stuff. I did have a chance to try it in California, but I haven't been able to get it since I've been here. Which is weird because it's supposed to be more legal.
Yeah. Yeah, our friend that went from California to Georgia, he's been doing a lot more CBD and Delta 8 because of that being an illegal state. Excuse me. Right. So what do you think?
You can get Delta 8 there?
Yeah, he just orders it online. And then he found a local smoke shop like not far from him that has them there. Like he can buy them right there. So he's good. He's set.
He can never remember the name of it though.
Yeah, we're like he's like, oh, I love it. It's great. I was like, what, you want to tell our people or listeners? He's like, oh, I have
we'll
to
get
find
you that.
it.
Yeah, I get you that. We had never even found out what the name of the Delta 8 was.
So what is your opinion on legalization and like federal legalization in the United States of America?
Yeah,
how far off do you think we are from that happening?
What do you think is going to happen? What do you want to see happen? So what do you think is going to happen, or what do you want to see happen?
Okay, so I had hope for the MORE Act that, went down. Unfortunately, I do have hope in the next few years for some kind of move toward federal decriminalization. I think that, it may be like still a little weird and a little gray, but they're going to take some steps. Maybe it's going to be like a memo that's released that basically just says, hey, this is not a priority anymore, like, for law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Or maybe, it's like, maybe it's an entire bill or a piece of legislature. But I do think that it's going to be, we're moving in that direction. And of course, federal legalization is coming too. It's just, bringing all of the United States in is just such a huge undertaking,
But I think if anything,
it's legal under federal law, like I think a lot of the states will fall in line, the ones that are illegal. I mean, there might be some that'll push back, but eventually they're going to fall in line because they're going to see how nothing's happening in these other states. They're thriving. They're making money. It's bringing jobs, I think that other states would fall in because I think the states could still technically say in their state it's illegal, correct? Even if it's federally illegal, or would it be just law of the land and that's it? You can't say it's illegal.
Law of the land, because how is it going to be federally legal and you get pulled over and they tell you something because your state, they can't do that.
They probably can't put you in jail, but maybe fine you or something.
Yeah. If we get federal decriminalization, then that will have to be the law of the land for sure. But in terms of like getting, all the not all the senators, but enough, of our federal representatives to vote for legalization, like that, I'm not sure about for a little bit longer. Of course, it will happen. Other states are doing it. Mexico just. Right? I mean, isn't that amazing?
So many places are doing it.
But I think,
Virginia,
like, if anything, we need it now more than fucking ever. We need to start getting the ball rolling now because we're hurting right now. And I think through the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people have ramped up the weed consumption just to cope with all the trauma we're getting handed to us.
Hell to the yes. I mean, I think that, there was a woman I interviewed who works for a California cannabis company. She's also a mom. And I quoted her in the book. And she said, like, based on her observation of the industry and even just like social circles and stuff, she's like, the pandemic has shaved off like 10 years of stigma. and like pushed us so much more forward with cannabis. And I agree.
100%. And I think people are just being more and more open, and you're finding communities online. So I think that's helping.
I just think too, like, yo, this plant has been around forever. Can you guys just start researching it and stop being such boneheads? I just don't get why it's so elusive. We still don't know so much. This shit has been around forever. Why are people dragging their feet?
People have been using it for medicine forever.
For real.
So back to your book.
Right. They're so terrified that we don't know enough about it, but we know that like you can't overdose, you can't die. Like we know it's really safe, and that should, that in itself should like elevate it, I mean, like compared to all these other super dangerous medications that people do die from.
100%. And not to mention how it's actually helped people
Get
wean off of
hard
extremely
drugs.
bad opioids, and I always say things wrong.
No, yeah, you're right.
But the word
Yeah, totally.
Opioids.
yeah.
Opioids. There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's called an exit drug, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's not a gateway drug. It's an exit drug for a lot of people, from alcohol and, even like tobacco and heroin. Like, there have been studies, cocaine, like people can taper or quit other drugs with the use of cannabis. I mean, federal prohibition is just like one of those just completely bonkers, so hard to wrap your head around. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't. They need to fix that. Your book, Weed Mom, the Canna Curious Woman's Guide to Healthier Relaxation, Happier Parenting, and Chilling the Fuck Out, or TF out to be PC. But we can say the fuck out here. Came out in December 2020. I was going to ask you, where can I read it?
Where can
listeners
we buy
find your book? On Amazon?
Yep, it's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Bookshop. And book people love it if you order it from your local bookstore too. So
Yeah, yes.
Throwing that out there.
Support your local bookshops for sure. Shop local.
How did you talk to them about it, or how did you approach the subject? Is there any specific way, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have a chapter in the book about talking to kids about cannabis because it's super important. Different ages and stages, like different, messages. I mean, the message is the same, but it gets more complex, obviously, as they get older. And of course, it does depend like on, your state and your job. And, there are things that you don't want to tell the little kids if you are afraid they're going to blurt it out at preschool or whatever. But that being said, if you feel safe enough, what I talk about is it's a plant, it grows in the ground like all these other beautiful plants that we enjoy. It's medicine for some adults, and it's like fun and relaxation for other adults. And for a lot of us, it's both. And I say that it's not safe for their brains, until they're older, until their brains have developed more. And that, I taught them how to like identify an edible, like with the pot leaf symbol or the THC symbol. And I was like, I will keep these safe so you're not going to mistake them for other candy. But, if you're ever like at a friend's house, I mean, we were in California and a lot of my friends, are weed consumers. So I was like, if you ever see this, like at a friend's house, just, don't eat it. Like, want them to be safe. So, and then we also talked about like why it became illegal and how it was unjust. And like, we talked about, some social issues around that and, racism around prohibition. And I just felt like it was cannabis is so cool because it brings in like science and wellness and culture and legal issues and social justice and everything. So I just felt like it's a good conversation topic for kids because you can cover so much stuff,
Agree. That's great. I love that point of view. It's perfect. Yes, you're absolutely
100%.
true. Yeah, awesome.
And I also think that kids get more than we give them credit for sometimes, and that if we are just like straightforward and honest and open and loving, like they're gonna be fine. Like. And they'll get it. They have the capacity to understand that the cannabis is a good thing, but it's not for kids.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. That's the same message I give my son. The same here. And, hiding it and being discreet is just making it seem like
more.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's further
keeping it.
stigmatizing it. And if you just normalize it and just be honest with your kids, eventually we're gonna weed out that stigma. It's gonna take some time, but little by little, having conversations not only with our kids, like you said, normalizing is having conversations with our friends, our family. Sometimes they don't always go the way we want, but sometimes you meet a new friend.
What do you think about tolerance breaks? Is there something specifically that you do maybe that makes it easier for you?
Do you recommend them?
Yeah. Thoughts?
That is interesting.
Have you done a tolerance break before?
She's like, man,
during the pandemic, the longest tolerance break I've taken is a day. So does that count?
A day? That's hey,
My
man.
tolerance break is when I go to sleep at night.
After the edible wears off.
I know, especially during
For
the
me.
pandemic. During the pandemic, we're like, tolerance breaks? Who? No.
No, I can't do one now. Definitely not.
Yeah. I'm not ready. I'm not emotionally ready. But but yeah, I think that it varies, and I think even 48 hours can be helpful for tolerance for a lot of people. And switching like modes of consumption too tends to be helpful. Like if you usually smoke, then going just to edibles or sublinguals or something for like a few days, or tinctures, that could be a nice way. But yeah, I mean, generally 48 hours to like a week or so. What's your experience with them?
I think
My pregnancy.
that's the longest tolerance break I took is my pregnancy. And I think the only time I have a tolerance break is now it's never, because I have access to weed whenever I need to when I go to the dispensary. But as if I just went dry and I didn't have any, then it was like
but none of your
involuntary,
plugs. Right.
or I'm traveling or something like that. But when we did try the tolerance break a little over a year ago, I did smoke CBD on those few days that I wasn't smoking like THC flower. That helped at least, with the relaxation at night and go to sleep, relax still. But I'm not doing a tolerance break anytime soon.
Yeah, but yeah, CBD is definitely great. And I'm sure, as we learn more about the other cannabinoids, we'll realize like the ways that they could be helpful in that regard too. And I even wonder about THCA and like consuming that during a tolerance break. I wonder how that would change things. There's so much to learn still.
All right. And that was our fun interview with Danielle Simone Brand. If you want some extras, that was not the entire interview. We do offer the full uncut interview as one of our Patreon
Extra content on our Patreon.
So please check that out on our webpage, contribute to Patreon, and get extra content from us. There's just so much information, we can't squeeze it into a podcast for you. So please join us and a group of others on Patreon, and you'll hear the full interview. You can reach out to Danielle at Danielle Simone Brand and www.daniellesimonebrand.com.
And you can find her book on Amazon, Weed Mom.
Yes, so wonderful. Thank you guys for sponsoring the show. Thanks so much for being a part of Pot Smoking Moms podcast. Yanni Reyes, Destiny Adams, Lauren Hadsel, Jesse Reyes, Christy Rodriguez, April Collins, Antibody Apparel. Thank you guys so much. We actually have a new patron, actually. We wanted to.
Yes. Oh, my
Terry.
gosh. Terry. Yeah, what was Terry's last
Terry
name?
Grimley, I believe.
Terry Grimley. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
those are all of our
TK
patrons.
Sweets. Thanks so much, you guys. And thank you for listening and taking time out of your day to smoke with us and chill with us. We hope you catch us around next time.
Bye.
Bye. I missed all my cues today. Bing, bong, boom.